So welcome everybody for tonight's class. Uh, tonight, well, tonight we'll be receiving the mind generation of Bodhicitta through a very simple ritual. His Holiness the Dalai Lama every now and then gives this Bodhicitta mind generation in the public. So I thought also it's also wonderful that if we could do this tonight. And for this, now historically speaking, Buddha Shakyamuni, after attaining his enlightenment, turned what is called as three wheels of Dharma. The first wheel of Dharma was on Four Noble Truths, and the second wheel of Dharma was on Prajna Paramita, or perfection of wisdom. And during the third turning of the wheel of Dharma, Buddha Shakyamuni gave teachings on what is called as Tathagata Garbha, that is the Tathagata is the Buddha's, the innate mind of clear light. So in other words, that deals with the tantric practice. So in the second turning of the wheel of the Dharma, Buddha Shakyamuni explicitly gave teachings on what is called as emptiness or shunyata, and then implicitly gave teachings on the method side. So for the explicit teachings on shunyata, we have what is called as samuttayu. That means the profound view of lineage. And for the explicit teachings on the method, we have in Tibetan what is called as Geshe, the extensive practice of lineage, the lineage of the extensive practice. So within the extensive, let me say this way. So the profound view, the teachings on profound view, the lineage was given to Manjushri, and from Manjushri onwards, the lineage came to Nagarjuna, Dharmakirti, and like that. Now, with regard to the extensive method teaching, the lineage of the extensive, Buddha Shakyamuni gave this teaching, the lineage to Maitreya Buddha, and from Maitreya Buddha to Asanga, and the later scholars or the masters, and eventually what we see is that these two lineages eventually was combined by Atisha Dipamkara around 10th or 11th century. So now with regard to the extensive Gyatsen Chügyü, that is the great extensive lineage, we have there's two sub-lineages. One is called as the Lapchen Chügyü, the heroic practice lineage, And then another is called as Nyamlen Chilapju. That is the blessed practice lineage. So with the heroic, the great heroic lineage, it concerns the practice of what we call as the equalizing self for others and exchanging self for others. And with the Nyamlen Chilapju, that is the blessed practice lineage, it concerns with the what is called as 7 cause and effect meditation. In other words, for the cultivation of mind of Bodhicitta. So, in the 7 cause and effect meditation, in cultivating the mind of Bodhicitta, I'm sure many of you have received many teachings. But anyway, just if I go very briefly, what are the 7 point? It is that there is a traditional way of generating mind of Bodhicitta, 7 causes, 6 causes, and the 7th is the mind of Bodhicitta. The first is recognizing all the sentient beings as being one's, mothers or relatives in one's previous lifetimes. And then second is thinking of repaying for their kindness. And then third is cultivating affectionate love for all the sentient beings. And then fourth is cultivating the compassionate attitude. And then fifth is the Kalsang, that is the special attitude. And then we have the mind of Bodhicitta, like that. Then of course, then that's the mind of Bodhicitta. And then in the what we have is the profound or the heroic practice lineage. We meditate on what is called as equalizing self for others, and then cultivate the thought of exchanging for others. And then eventually we cultivate the mind of Bodhicitta, with which we shall be able to cultivate our one of the most important practices, what is called as the Tonglen practice. Tonglen practice, right? One of the most important. So now, So now, for tonight's our purpose, we need to understand, before we cultivate or engage in this practice, we need to understand what is the mind of Bodhicitta. What is the mind of Bodhicitta? In Tibetan, we have a word for Bodhicitta, which is called Jangchup Kisem. So there is 3 words, Jangchup Kisem. And Jangchup means Jang means purified. Chup means completely awakened. Sem means mind. So this itself clearly indicates that in order to achieve Jangchup Kisem, or mind of, in other words, mind of Bodhicitta, we need to purify our negativities. We need to work on awakening our mind. So in purifying our negativities, we need to understand what are the negativities. And there's a lot of words. Anyway, in purifying our negativities, we need to understand what are the negativities and why we call them negativities. So, in the text, we see that there is like 404 negativities, 404 negativities like that, right? So, even more so, there is more than 404 negativities, more. So, but there is a text which mentions that there is 404 negativities. But if we sum up them, we can sum up them into what we call as, 3 poisons. That is, hatred, attachment, and ignorance. So now, why we call them as negativities? Another negative thought or negative emotion. It is because that, thank you. The very moment one of these, say, anger arises, say, take the example, one of these negativities, say anger, the very moment when it arises in our mind, we feel disturbed. With jealousy, it is same thing. With other negativities, it is same thing. Once we are disturbed, our physical actions becomes disturbed, our mental actions becomes disturbed, our verbal actions disturbed. And with the disturbed state of mind, whatever we do in many wrong ways. And we affect, what is called as we give effect. For example, if it is something we have in a family, we affect it in that family, kind of impact, disturbed state of mind. So whole family is disturbed. The whole family is disturbed. So that is why we call maybe, just a little bit, what do you call?
Let's try. We'll try.
Yeah. Oh.
I think.
Another will pull up higher.
Oh, it's. Oh.
Yeah. Never mind. Nah.
Need,
Are you feeling heat? You're feeling heat, right?
the heat is off.
Yeah. I see.
But we have so many incredibly excited people.
So you turned on the heat?
No, the heat's off. And I
that's
also
good.
I cracked
That's
the door
good. That's good.
out
Yes,
for
that's
the
good.
front. But now I think, and maybe
That's good. Maybe listen less.
If you pull again,
Little bit less.
yeah, it'll be less, and then pull one more time. I think there. No, those
Yeah. That's very good.
That's good.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah. It's hot, here.
Loosen them.
Oh, good. Okay, leave now.
And smell.
It does.
So maybe we stop, maybe we stop the fan. Yeah. Right.
Do you think it's the fan? It might not be the fan.
Ah.
Oh, it's flickering. That right in here.
This one? Do you want here?
It's okay. I will. If the door is open, then okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave the door open. Yeah.
Okay.
So, through our own experience, we know that whenever there is a negative thought in us, we feel disturbed, mentally, emotionally disturbed. And with a disturbed state of mind, we never, act properly or correctly. We act in such a way that could, give bad impact for ourselves, bad impact for us, in our homes and like that. So that is why we need to purify the negativities in order to achieve the state of enlightenment. That's one thing. So while purifying our negativities, we also need the strength. That is the inner strength. And the most powerful inner strength we get is by cultivating warm-heartedness. By cultivating sense of consideration for others. By cultivating, we have a very beautiful word these days, this word, the empathy for others, So the moment we generate feeling of warm-heartedness or sense of consideration for others, or, empathy, or what we can say is, a compassionate state of mind. These negative emotions will subside and will have no role to, in affecting our mental state. Not only that, when we cultivate, say, the feeling of warm-heartedness, what we achieve at a subconscious level is the inner strength, confidence in oneself, trust in oneself. Why? Because when we think in the cultivation of warm-heartedness, we have started expanding our heart, by which we try to include as many people as in that, warm-heartedness. So that is why the ultimate warm-heartedness is the cultivation of mind of Bodhicitta. So in the mind of Bodhicitta, we see two aspirations. Aspiration to achieve the state of enlightenment, and aspiration to see all the sentient beings experience happiness and free from every kind of suffering and pain. When we experience even a small amount of such, a mental state, a joy arises in us, because we shall be able to reduce what we call self-centered attitude. So when we are able to reduce the self-centered attitude, we become more solid. We become more, physically more stronger, emotionally stronger. Because with self-centered attitude, there is a sneaky in it that you want victory. Others, no matter whatever happen. For example, even in our family life, a person, a husband or a wife, who is a self-centered person and who doesn't, with that self-centered person, sense of caring for other family members there's not much there. If there's something to share, he'll eat it first. If there's a pie, he'll get the biggest pie, If there's something, meatloaf, he'll get the bigger pie, bigger meatloaf. Because he wants to grab. And what happens? Others will say, oh, my dad is very greedy, or my mom is very greedy, or like that. And by feeling this way, how come we can have a wonderful dinner at the dinner table? No way. It is same every time. Whenever there is a workplace, until and unless we are able to reduce some kind of our self-centeredness, we shall not be able to cope with anyone. Because here in the self-centeredness, everything is me. Everything should revolve around me. I'm not bothered about whatever may happen to the others. I'm not at all concerned. But in our daily life, we know that everything what we have, whether it's, housing facility, whether it is, our meals, whether it's our education, jobs, everything, it's kind of related with someone else. There's a role of somebody. Am I making sense, right? There's a role of somebody, there's a role of somebody. And with that, by neglecting the role of somebody, we are not going to achieve anything. Instead, we are what is as mentioned in the text. We are cultivating causes of more suffering. So that is why, even in our daily life, for our beautiful life, we must cultivate a feeling of warm-heartedness. With that warm-heartedness, we shall have more peace, more joy, more, positive outlook for others. On the other hand, if we live a selfish life, we lose our friends. We become very, very isolated, even in the midst of thousands of people. So that is why in Shantideva says that self-centeredness is the root cause of all pains, whereas the thought for cherishing others is the door for all goodnesses. And he goes further. There's no need to explain more about the harmfulness of self-centered attitude and goodness of others, and thought for cherishing others. Just look at Buddha Shakyamuni. he is so much praised. He is so much, respected. Because he has completely overcome the self-centered attitude. Whereas we are still wandering in the cyclic existence because of our self-centered attitude. So, in our day-to-day life, cultivating self-centered attitude, this thought for cherishing others and overcoming self-centered attitude is not something really a Buddhist practice. It's a practice that is needed by everyone. That is why His Holiness, in his text, in his book, Ethics for New Millennium, and then in his book on the Beyond Religion, he says that we need to understand that we are living in a shared world. And we are living in a connected, interconnected world. It is really true that we are living in a shared world where, you share, you get shared. You don't share, you do not get shared, And especially understanding of the, interconnectedness really makes you feel that you are also a part of this world. Your role has, no matter where you live, can have ripple effect on others. We know, for example, when we go to our workplace with an angry mood, we can see the effect of this angry mood in the traffic.
Yeah.
We can see this angry mood at the workplace. Where it started at home. Something gone wrong, you got angry, and you take that anger with you, and then you experience these things. Then you back home, again you bring this anger with you, and then quarrel with your family members. Have difficult time with family members. So that's why His Holiness, whenever he gives teachings, he really stresses on the cultivating of feeling of warm-heartedness. He always mentions that it's about common sense. When we talk about philosophical things, whether there is creation or not, whether there is karma or not, there'll be a lot of, people who agree with it, who will not agree with it. Whereas when we talk about feeling of warm-heartedness, there's no one who will say feeling of warm-heartedness is not good. That's His Holiness always mentions. That feeling of warm-heartedness has nothing to do. No one will say this. Even the non-believers accept that feeling of warm-heartedness it's a wonderful, mental emotion. It's a wonderful to practice. So how are we going to cultivate feeling of warm-heartedness? Day in and day out, Like as I mentioned yesterday in doing meditation, we need to look inward. Be practical. After having a big, wonderful breakfast, or those who skip breakfast, I'm not sure, or when you get a coffee from Starbucks, before going to the work, before doing something, say to yourself, today, I'll be more considerate for others. Today, I'll work on having a positive attitude. Today, I'll be someone that people will appreciate what I do. Go with this kind of attitude to your workplace. You will be a different person. Whatever you do, because subconsciously you have already spoken to yourself, I'm not doing anything that's, going to harm others. That's going to impact badly to others. So what you will be doing, even if you get to meet some bad people in your office, you will be acting in a very, very skillful way. And with a very skillful way, with a smiling face, you have not harmed anyone at that time. You have done something that is, people actually come to see you. Oh, what a wonderful person this is. May I say, this morning, my co-worker, John, for example, he's very different. Maybe he got a good coffee. A very strong coffee, but he's very different. He's wonderful. My things went so smoothly. My meeting went so smoothly. The conference went so smoothly, so beautifully, like that. So everyone is happy. Everyone goes out home with a wonderful, result, with good smile. Everyone at home, everyone is pleased to receive you home. Wife is very pleased to receive you home. Kids are very happy to receive you home. And then you have nice, wonderful things to share at home. Okay, this morning I did that, this and this and this, and then everything went so wonderfully. So you'll have a nice dinner. And then nice sleep, of course. On the other hand, if we do something in a very agitated way, the others get agitated too. If you yell on someone, that others will yell on you. This is something, so obvious to us. No need to explain. That's why Shantideva always says, there's no need to explain about the goodness of warm-heartedness and, harmfulness of self-centered attitude. Just day in and out, try to be a better person, day in and out, by becoming more and more, better, by cultivating more stronger and stronger, how should I say, feeling of warm-heartedness. Appreciate what you have done. Whatever is wonderfully done. Feel, even though in our Buddhist terms, there's no, word for, there's no room for guilt. But then we have word for, regret or remorse. Check when you come home what you have done for the day. How has it fared? In this way, day by day, we have to improve. Day by day, we become better. Day by day, we become, better and better person. In the spiritual practice, what we need to understand is that there is no shortcut method. It is a step-by-step learning, step-by-step improvement. And improvement, you can see, for example, yesterday I mentioned that Goengaji mentions that whatever you do good, whatever practice you do, you should be able to see the result then and there, not wait for next day. That is true. Expecting result next year, and you say that I will practice, I'm doing, say meditation today. That's not something, a reality from the cause and effect viewpoint too. Because the cause and effect they're just connected one after the other. Am I making any sense? So in this way, what we really need is the cultivation of feeling of warm-heartedness. And the ultimate feeling of warm-heartedness is the generation of, mind of Bodhicitta. That is why the generation of mind of Bodhicitta, or in other words, the mind of Bodhicitta, when it is praised, for example, in the 7-point mind training text, when it is praised, it is said that the mind of Bodhicitta is like a diamond. Mind of Bodhicitta is like a medicinal plant. Mind of Bodhicitta is like a sun. Yeah, in true sense, mind of Bodhicitta is like a diamond. It's the jewel of all the jewels. It's like the sun, because in the mind of Bodhicitta, there's no discrimination. As the sun never discriminates. Mind of Bodhicitta is like a medicinal plant, because it heals our negative thought. Especially it heals the negative thought of self-centered attitude. That is why heavy emphasis is given on the cultivation of mind of Bodhicitta in the Mahayana practice. And it is said that if you do not have this mind of Bodhicitta, no matter how much wonderful qualities you have not entered the Mahayana path. Even if you have the deepest understanding of shunyata, if you lack the mind of Bodhicitta, you have not entered the Mahayana path. On the other hand, even if you have no other quality except the mind of Bodhicitta, you have entered the Mahayana path. You are referred, as Shantideva says, that you are referred and you are called as the sons and daughters of the Buddha's lineage. Why so much praise is given? It is because it really, even if it is, even the mind of Bodhicitta, it's, even if, say, if it's in a form of, some physical form, and even if you have a fraction of it, you'll be at peace, others will be at peace. So that is why Shantideva, when he gives, in his text, the first thing what he did is, the first chapter is the praise of mind of Bodhicitta. It's praises and praises for the mind of Bodhicitta. So that is why, really, I'm not going in more detail. Really, it's a common sense. Goodness, with goodness of heart, with good, in other words, with warm-heartedness, there's room for everybody. Room for yourself too. Whereas with self-centered attitude, you are losing everything. And you lose yourself too, eventually. This is common sense. It's common sense. So that is why I thought we should, cultivate the mind of Bodhicitta tonight. And really, from the depth of our heart, we should generate appreciation for it. That this mind of Bodhicitta is such a wonderful quality that I need to achieve. That I need to get, that I need to have at least feel of it. When we look at the great beings of the world, such as Mahatma Gandhi, such as Mother Teresa, how could they able to achieve such wonderful things? Look at Mother Teresa. She lived in the poorest of the poorest in India, worked selflessly for countless numbers of people. There was one time she was criticized by some Hindu fanatics. But then, at that time, the government at that time had to respond, saying that whatever she's doing for our people. And there's no way, we can kick her out of India, Whatever she's doing for our Indian people. The response, even the politicians had to respond this way, So the patients like them more. Patients want to have him or her as your nurse, not the ones who is, arrogant and who just, shows bad, face every time like that. Patients also get freaked out, Say, please, not this doctor, some other doctor, like that. Yeah, we have this common sense. This is just, please, I don't want to have, injection from this nurse, like that, right? No. She just does like this, and so like that. So like this, so we have to, that's common sense, right? So that is why really in our daily life, what is really important is cultivating warm-heartedness, lessening your self-centered attitude. When we talk about lessening our self-centered attitude, in other words, overcoming ourselves, it's not something that we become weak. We are not weakness is there when we hold this self-centered attitude. Why we hold? Because within that we feel something, insecure. So subconsciously, the insecurity is there with self-centered attitude. Bravery, courageous comes out from when we have more, feeling of more heartedness. Because there's nothing to hide. You do honestly. Honesty is there. And if you are honest, if you are transparent, there's nothing to hide. There's nothing to fear about. Whereas if you do things with what you call dishonest, without transparency, some things like that comes from, then there's fear. And then you know that something is wrong, you can say guilt, I feel guilt. Or you regret, I don't know, we have no word in Tibetan, this guilt, something like that. But is there something you feel, or uncomfortableness is there? So that is why daily life, lead a beautiful life. I really don't want to talk deep about Dhamma practice, It's daily life is important. Make it a beautiful daily life. Then one day is passed beautifully. Second day is passed beautifully. Live beautiful, happy, peaceful life. No complaints, like that, right? So then otherwise always complaining, oh, my husband is bad, my brother is bad, my sister is bad, I'm the only one good one, So where this come from, Everyone is bad and I'm the only good one. And this good one is suffering. Right? So it's just using no common sense, like that. So we have to really down to earth, come down. Where am I? What I am doing, what my thoughts are. Investigate. Improve yourself. Really, then you have a beautiful life. There's no doubt about that. Wonderfully leading wonderful life. So this is how we practice. Be practical, So as I mentioned yesterday, be normal almost, Don't be unconventional, Something like, doing so different from others, Totally different. No. This is not good, Just try to be, as, normal as possible. But cultivate as wonderful qualities as much as possible. We have a Tibetan saying, even if your realization is like the realizations of, gods and goddesses, your behavior should be human behavior, at a human level. Right? So beautiful life. Read good life. That's what I always stress. Don't worry about, really no need to worry about even future life, If you lead a good life, the future life is good. Definitely. That's for sure. If you lead, problematic life, bad life, cheating others, deception, all these things, and to practice reciting mantra many times, nothing will happen, So this is not achieving anything. So no. The mantra will not be able to take you to, higher realm next time, Because you have already collected a huge bag of, you have already have a baggage, it's with you. So baggage is with you. So that is why, it's really important for us to lead a beautiful life, honest, transparent, with full of loving kindness for others, affectionate for others. For yourself too, as I always mention, have love for yourself first, which is lacking very much. Have, confidence in yourself, trust in yourself. I see, for example, in the West, there are many people who have achieved so much, but they feel empty. Even though they have achieved so much, but they still feel empty. Something has gone wrong with them, Something is missing in them. Could have been investigated. For example, not being able to, have confidence in oneself. And we investigate. We find, many times, due to sexual abuse, due to, domestic violence, like that. Many, many ways happens like that, right? Even though they have achieved so much. So, down to earth, it's rooted to family, actually. When we trace, many of our problems can be solved if the problems in the, family is solved. There's ripple effect like that, right? So it's not just, I'm talking about India. Even in the Tibetan community, we do have problems, which is very unfortunate. Recently, there was, child abuse in one Tibetan settlement. That's very unfortunate, That's why His Holiness is very worried that Tibetan community is losing the moral ethics. Lead a good ethical life. Ethical life, beautiful life. When we talk about ethics, it's not something you getting punishment. It is about your best interest. Because you stop harming others. Instead, you go on helping others as much as possible. Ethical life is like that. Beautifully, ethical life is like that. So in this way, tonight, as a part of our cultivating, the mind of Bodhicitta, we will recite 3 times together. Usually, actually, you have to repeat after me, but I think it's best to recite together. And after that, what we need to do is that, before that, okay, now let us sit in silent moment, cultivate deep appreciation for the mind of Bodhicitta. Think about its wonderful qualities. Think about how beneficial it is, as I've mentioned. Deep appreciation for the mind of Bodhicitta. We'll sit in silent for 2-3 minutes, cultivating deep appreciation for good art or the mind of Bodhicitta. Okay. Now what we will do is we recite this verse with a wish, with a wish to for 3 times, okay? 3 times. So after reciting 3 times, again we sit in silent meditation and feel that you have generated the mind of Bodhicitta. Mind of Bodhicitta is now generated, and then you have to feel that now I have entered the Mahayana path. For those who have already cultivated, who have already had the experience of cultivation of mind of Bodhicitta, you feel that my mind of Bodhicitta is now, has become more stronger, more powerful, more energetic than before, like that. Okay, so we'll recite this 3 times together, okay? With wish to
free all sentient beings, I shall always go for refuge to all Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach the essence of enlightenment, infused by wisdom and compassion, diligently for the sake of sentient beings. In the presence of the Buddha, I generate the mind for full awakening to work to benefit all sentient beings.
with a wish to
free all sentient beings, I shall always go for refuge to all Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach the essence of enlightenment, enthused by wisdom and compassion, diligently for the sake of sentient beings. In the presence of the Buddha, I generate the mind for full awakening to work to benefit all sentient beings. With the wish to free all sentient beings, I shall always go for refuge to all Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach the essence of enlightenment, enthused by wisdom and compassion, diligently for the sake of sentient beings. In the presence of the Buddha, I generate the mind for full awakening to work to benefit all sentient beings.
now feel that you have cultivated the mind of Bodhicitta, and the mind of Bodhicitta is not totally, completely mixed with your mind. In other words, your mind has become mind of Bodhicitta, and the mind of Bodhicitta has become your mind. Almost like water being poured into another water ball, just completely mixed. Feel that you have generated the mind of Bodhicitta. In other words, the warm-heartedness, empathy for others, feeling of consideration for others. You have to feel firmly with the conviction through the blessings of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Now I have become a Bodhisattva practitioner. I have entered the Mahayana path. You have to feel this way. Okay, now we'll recite the next verse as long as 3 times, okay? As long as
Space remains, as long as sentient beings remain. Until then, may I too remain, and dispel the miseries of the world.
As long as
space remains, as long as sentient beings remain. Until then, may I too remain, and dispel the miseries of the world.
as long as
space remains, as long as sentient beings remain. Until then, may I too remain, and dispel the miseries of the world.
So this is the commitment what we are making, is that from now onwards, I will not harm anyone. I'll have no harming role in whatsoever way for others, directly or indirectly. This is one very, very firm commitment we have to make. Secondly, we have to make another firm commitment, that is, I'll try my best in helping others as much as possible. I will try my best in helping others as much as possible. And the third commitment is, no matter whatever bad, difficult people I meet, I will not give up my Bodhicitta. I will never give up my Bodhicitta. So these are very, very, wonderful commitments which we make after receiving the mind of Bodhicitta. Now we'll again go into next step of silent meditation, in which we rejoice for having cultivated the mind of Bodhicitta. For example, right now, out of 7 billion people, how many have cultivated mind of Bodhicitta at this very moment? Maybe very few. And in few includes us. So how wonderful it is. We have to appreciate this way. For example, if you are able to do something good, you have to appreciate. Oh, how many people are there? I'm just something doing good. So from billions and billions of people, I'm one of something doing good. Like that, right? So appreciate, rejoice. So we will sit in silent meditation, rejoicing for cultivating this mind of Bodhicitta, for getting this wonderful opportunity. Wow, thank you. Wonderful, wonderful, right? So that's wonderful. So, since we have cultivated mind of Bodhicitta tonight, at around 8:35. Yeah, so we have to feel wonderful. That's such a bad. And then, in order to, here in you have when you go to when you go to Safeway, there is on the rack there's some things boosting your energies, right? Boosting, not Red Bull, not Red Bull. Some things energize. All kinds of waters are there, right? All kinds of waters are there, for boosting your energy, right? Right. So that's physical energy boosting. For boosting our mental energy, especially boosting our feeling of warm-heartedness and the mind of Bodhicitta. Try to read, Shantideva's book, especially the first chapter, and appreciate. Oh, what a wonderful this, warm-heartedness is. What a wonderful this mind of Bodhicitta is. Appreciate. And then once you start to appreciate, you will feel that, I have already generated this mind. I need to boost it. I need to put it in a stronger level, at a more powerful level. Generate this kind of determination. And then practice. Whatever you have, practice with this mind. Your practice becomes, Mahayana path. Your practice becomes the appreciation of Buddhas or Bodhisattvas. And in the practical world, you become changed person. With a feeling of warm-heartedness. In practical world, you will be a more wonderful person than ever before. Then you rejoice what you have. So these are things what I usually explain, and try to practice as much as possible. Practice, feel of it, like something having, you have here hands-on, hands-on practice, hands-on, right? Have it, cultivate it. But main thing is lead a beautiful life, honest, wonderful life. Because just beyond that, you don't need to worry. You don't need to worry. Sometimes, we talk about, for example, maybe I'm taking too much of your time, but sometimes we talk, say, what should be what should happen, when my end comes, and what should do, whether, for example, if someone says, what should do, whether we should keep my body, untouched or not untouched, this, no, nothing, not after my death, nothing, these are not something to be worried about, because these come after you left your body, bodies, after you have left your body, these are the next things, somebody will take care of it, That's not your duty, actually, Our duty is in this very lifetime. This is really what I truly feel. And I explain, I practice myself, like that, So that's what we need to do as much as possible. Okay. So we do the closing. So, this.
Have the last
This we will not do. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.